Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Just wanted to show you where we at as far as this project. So I actually had a frame pulled. I actually had someone do this work because simply they just gave me a really good deal. Only $200 to pull both of these rails back where they're supposed to be. And if I went to rent frame machine, I would probably pay at least $100, if not more, just to rent it and spend a couple of hours of my labor anyway. So I got that done. I actually had a surprise even before I had it pulled. I realized I always thought that Model S and Model X were made mostly out of aluminum, and Model 3 mostly made out of steel. But I found out that everything on the inside, right where I need to get repairs done, right up until this point, this whole thing that I need to replace is actually aluminum. Now I'm gonna tell you a story how I got parts. This right here, actually, I found locally, brand new, but it has defects, unfortunately, but manageable. But I also was able to score. I was really blessed with this piece, and let me tell you why. I'm gonna tell you a story how I found it, and the reason why I'm gonna tell you this because some people may benefit from this story in a way that next time when you look for parts you may use the same strategy. Anyway, so I started looking for inner structure parts. There are no parts available as far as used. I could not find these parts. Sorry, I'm trying to point anywhere. They are available from dealer, but they are restricted. You can't buy them. You have to be certified or Tesla approved shop to be able to order these parts. Although I have a friend of mine who has an account, and these parts were still restricted for him as well. Anyway, so I started looking online, and one of the biggest directories for salvage yards called car-part.com. Probably everyone knows this website. So I went on that website and started looking for parts, like rear parts, front parts, and I couldn't find anything in my area for me to go and look at it, for me to go and pick it up. So I started looking for all kinds of parts, trunk lid, rear doors. Even though I don't need them, I just wanted to find a junkyard close by for me where I can go and check car out to see if I can get structural pieces. So I found rear bumper reinforcement. So I called this salvage yard and give them a stock number. I always get a stock number because a lot of times these guys are lazy. You're gonna call them and say, hey, I'm looking for a rear bumper reinforcement, and they're gonna tell you, oh bro, my car is burned to the ground, so I don't think we have it. And sometimes they won't even say, oh no, we don't have it, and I would give them a stock number so it's easier for them to search. Anyway, in this case, that's what he told me. He said, no, we don't have I don't have it. It's my car is burned to the ground. And I said, hey, listen, do you mind, you're not too far away from me, do you mind if I stop by and just take a look at it myself, see if I can use anything of that car? And he was kind enough to say yes, because some salvage yards, they're going to say, no, insurance won't allow us to let anyone in the yard and blah, blah, blah. And it's true, but in many cases, these guys just don't want to deal with you. If you call and ask for the parts that are very common and expensive for them to sell, they will be all over you. If you're looking for an engine or I don't know what else is a good part for them to sell, but you get the point. And when you're asking for bumper reinforcement, or if you're gonna call and say, hey, I'm looking for this little bracket or a little clip, they're gonna say, no, we don't have it. So he said, yes, you can come over and take a look at it. So I went there, I checked it, and I found this. The whole rear, it had a trunk lid on it. It had this bumper on it, but bumper is damaged, trunk lid was damaged, burned. But bumper have a lot of brackets, have all the parking sensors and things like that. So guess how much I paid for this piece? I asked them. Initially, I didn't realize that I'm gonna need this other side. I only thought that I'm gonna need one side, because I had no idea that the rear was aluminum actually. And the guy told me that we are gonna charge $300 minimum for any cuts. So I asked him, I said, instead of you going through all those layers of, well, where am I pointing? Instead of going through all those layers and cut in the middle, what about if you cut just right through? Because there was no roof melted. And it's actually a fact. It would be easier for them to cut right through the floor versus trying to go through these layers. And the trunk was full of stuff, burnt and solid one piece of all kinds of, I don't know what was in the trunk. So anyway, this is how I scored this whole thing for $300. They sold me this whole thing for $300. They actually charged me $150 for rear bumper reinforcement, but I was more than happy to pay them this amount for all these parts, because rear end was somewhere far away for $5,000 plus freight. So anyway, this is how I got these parts. I also ordered other parts like taillights and rear bumper from the eBay. Got a pretty good deal on those parts as well. Trunk lid was most expensive piece. I actually got this trunk lid from Facebook Marketplace, and guy agreed to meet me like halfway. So I actually drove like 45 minutes to meet him, and I got it from him for $600. It's not that good deal because brand new, I believe, don't quote me on this, but I think it's like $800 or $900 from dealer. But you know, ordering from dealer potentially could be a month in waiting. But also, what I found later, it's got little defect on it. I think this is why it was sold, because these people they bought it from an auction, like they buy some kind of estate or something. They go to auctions and get all kind of stuff, and this is where they got it. So I believe they got it from some kind of body shop, maybe closing down or whatever. But the defect is these holes are incorrect. These holes, I don't know if you can see it, these holes are supposed to be right here. So I'm gonna have to make new holes for this license plate. But anyway, so right now what we are going to do, we're gonna start drilling, cutting. I actually had to buy, well, let me rewind a little bit. Because this whole rear end is aluminum. I've never done aluminum structure. So I actually had to purchase a rivet gun, the air kind. Tesla actually have a really good service manual, and it's available to public. Whenever you own one of these, you have an account with Tesla, so you can go log into your account. I believe it's like service.tesla.com or something like that, and you can find manuals there. And they have a manual in details explaining how to change these frame rails. Sorry, I'm pointing in a wrong direction, but it will show you even where you're supposed to put rivets, how many rivets, what kind of rivets. There's like a whole bunch of rivets, and rivets actually are expensive from Tesla. You get like 10 rivets for like $40-50. I found exactly same rivets on can't remember the name of the website, but they do sell like hardware. They sell rivets and stuff like that. So they're selling their rivets for 100 pieces for about like between $30 and $60, depend on the rivet. And I'm talking about exactly same rivets that Tesla sells. So you basically getting them 10 times cheaper from this website. So anyway, that's enough talking. We are gonna start probably with damaged pieces. We're gonna start drilling, sanding, and basically removing all the damaged parts.